August 13th, 1961. The heart of Berlin awoke to a city being torn in two, barbed wire, then concrete, sliced through streets, families, and lives. For Ingrid, a young nurse living in East Berlin, it was a morning of disbelief. She'd planned to visit her parents in the West that very afternoon. Standing on her balcony, she watched soldiers unfurl the wire, a barrier rising from the asphalt like a nightmare made real. Her weekly family visits, the simple act of crossing a street, were suddenly gone. The city she knew, the life she had, was severed in an instant. She was trapped. All she could do was watch as the scar deepened, a wall of gray concrete silencing the vibrant sounds of a united city. This wasn't just a political act. For millions like Ingrid, it was a deeply personal wound. The day their world shrank to the confines of a guarded perimeter, the Berlin Wall was born, and with it, a new, divided reality. Life in the shadow of the wall quickly became a tale of two cities. In the West, Hans, a university student, saw the wall as a monstrous scar on a city's face. He and his friends would often go to the viewing platforms, peering over into the alien world of East Berlin. They'd see the guard towers, the empty death strip, and the gray, uniform apartment blocks. For them, the East was a place of whispers and fears, a constant, grim reminder of the Cold War's chilling reality. They'd wave, sometimes seeing faint figures wave back. A silent, human connection across an inhuman divide. Life in West Berlin was vibrant, free, and colorful, but it was a life lived on an island, surrounded by a hostile sea. The wall was a daily provocation, a symbol of oppression they couldn't ignore. Meanwhile, just a few miles away, but a world apart, Ingrid navigated her new life in the East. The wall wasn't just a physical barrier. It was a psychological one, designed to crush hope. Yet, human spirit is resilient. People found small ways to resist, to maintain their identity. Listening to forbidden Western radio stations, or sharing jokes about the regime. Ingrid held on to the memory of a family, writing letters she wasn't sure would ever arrive, her hope a flickering candle against the cold, concrete reality. The desire for freedom is one of the most powerful human drives, and it pushed many to desperate, heroic acts. The Berlin Wall became a stage for both incredible triumphs and devastating tragedies. The world watched in horror in August 1962, when an 18-year-old bricklayer named Peter Fechter attempted to scale the wall near Checkpoint Charlie. He was shot by East German guards and fell back into the death strip on the eastern side. For nearly an hour, he lay there, bleeding to death, his cries for help echoing in the Nomen. Western gods couldn't intervene without risking a major international incident, and the Eastern gods refused to help. His death, witnessed by hundreds, became a global symbol of the wall's brutality. Yet, where there was tragedy, there was also incredible ingenuity and courage. Secret tunnels became a lifeline for those desperate to flee. One of the most famous was Tunnel 57, dug by a group of West German students. It ran from the basement of an abandoned bakery in the west to a building in the east. Over 2 nights in October 19, they managed to guide 57 men, women, and children to freedom. It was a nerve-wracking, claustrophobic journey through the dark, damp earth, with the constant fear of discovery or collapse. Each person who emerged into the West was a victory against the regime, a testament to the unbreakable human will to be free. These stories of escape, both failed and successful, were whispered on both sides of the wall, fueling both fear and hope. For 28 years, the wall stood as a symbol of division. Generations were born and grew up knowing nothing else. For Hans, now a history professor, the wall was a subject he taught his students, a historical fact. For Ingrid, now a senior matron at her hospital, it was the unchanging backdrop of her entire adult life. She'd never seen her parents again. They had passed away years ago, their final letters speaking of a reunion they hoped for but never saw. Hope had worn thin, replaced by a quiet resignation. But then, in 1989, the winds of change began to blow across Eastern Europe. Protests, Greo, and the pressure on the East German government became unbearable. On the evening of November 9th, 1989, an East German official made a confused, premature announcement at a press conference. He stated that citizens were free to cross the border immediately. The news spread like wildfire. At first, there was disbelief, then a hesitant trickle of people toward the checkpoints. The guards, with no clear orders, were overwhelmed. The trickle became a flood. People swarmed the wall, pouring through the now open gates. Hans was at home when he heard the news. He rushed to the Brandenburg Gate, joining a massive, ecstatic crowd. People were climbing onto the wall, chipping away at it with hammers and chisels, dancing, singing, and crying. It was a scene of pure, unadulterated joy. In the midst of the celebration, he saw a woman about his age, looking around with a dazed, tearful expression. It was Ingrid. She had walked from her apartment, drawn by the incredible noise, and crossed the border she hadn't traversed in nearly 3 decades. They stood there, 2 strangers united by history. He, who had watched from the outside, and she, who had lived on the inside. They didn't need to say much. They looked at the crowds, at the crumbling concrete, at the faces filled with a hope reborn. The wall hadn't just divided a city. It had held back dreams, separated families, and frozen time. That night, as the concrete fell, so did the barriers in people's hearts. Berlin was one again. The stories of Ingrid and Hans, of Peter Fechter, and the heroes of Tunnel 57 remind us that no wall can stand forever against the tide of human freedom.